And I'm going to go ahead and get into our training tonight unless there are any questions. For anybody who got on after I said this in the beginning, the document we're training on tonight is on the Inspired National Area Facebook page. It's called Team Building Workshop. And I put a comment in it, so it should have brought it back to the top of the thread if you guys want to follow along or write notes or whatever. I have like the master copy, so there's a little things on mine that aren't on the one on the internet or whatever. So we're going to go through this, and this was originally taught by Denise in 2019. I believe everything is still relevant. Some of the numbers might be a little bit off, but I do want to read this part word for word, keeping in mind this was back in 2019, so 6 years ago, but this was what Denise wrote in her own words to kind of start this workshop off. I have been paid on average $100,000 plus per year for 30 years because I shared the opportunity. There is only one of you and only so much time to do facials and parties and selling. Even though you can build a phenomenal reorder business, when you share the opportunity, you are duplicating yourself and making passive income over time that grow exponentially as you continue to share. So I thought that was amazing. $100,000 every year, and she's been doing it for 30 years. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to do it. She's been teaching us how to do it. And this is just like a great refresher on information. A couple of the numbers might have changed as we go through it, but the concept is still the same. So one of the things that we're going to do a little thinking and dreaming kind of as we go through this as well, because you need to know if you want to build a team, first of all. That's going to be the most important thing to know at this point in your career, because we've all signed our beauty agreements. We've all decided to become consultants for whatever reason we made that decision. Now we've gone through, like, if we did an order for inventory, if we didn't, we've all, I think everybody on here has at least had some parties and some customers and some sales. And so now is a great time to talk about team building. We're in a new year and we're starting things off. And we have probably, hopefully, lots of holiday follow-ups that we can do. And talking to somebody about the opportunity is an amazing experience for them. And, you know, they don't even know about it yet. So what the first thing you want to do is you need to decide if you do want to build a team. And then if you do want to build a team, how many consultants you want, what level you want to get to. And we're going to go through that information tonight to kind of help get you clear on what you want to do as far as what level you want to get to, where commissions are different, how much you get paid at each level, and so forth. So you can kind of have a really good idea of where you want to be. So after we decide if we're going to do the team building or not, that should be a simple yes or no question for right now. Then I want you to think about these 7 items to see if you're set up for a successful business model that you can teach somebody else to reproduce, okay? So our first option item is dress professional with your hair and your makeup done in public. Now, this one was really hard for me, and to be totally transparent, this one still is hard for me. Obviously, I have my hair in a ponytail today, and I guess I still think that looks somewhat professional. But wearing hair and makeup in public is one thing, but you also want to make sure that the clothing you have on is also professional for the task that you're doing. So Hunter always teases me because, like, if I'm in my pajamas already at night, I absolutely will, like, literally not leave my house. And Hunter's like, just run to the gas station. Nobody will see you. You don't even have to get out of the car. And I'm just, that's like a line I just won't cross. Because you never know what happens if, like, the car breaks down or something like that, you know. So for me, that is one of those lines I won't cross. But maybe you're out working out, or maybe you're doing work in your yard or your garden, or you're doing other things, and maybe you are dressed for that event and you need to go in public. hear me that that's okay. You can still go into public dressed the way that you are. If you are going into public specifically intending to warm chatter with people, talk about Mary Kay, book appointments, make new contacts, please use those things and dress professionally. I know that there's a lot of talk all the time on all different kinds of social medias about what that really looks like. And we've all talked about, some of the nationals and some of their offspring children as directors don't always wear the Mary Kay way with the skirts and the blazers and the jackets and all that kind of stuff. And so for that, I just want to say that let's use common sense. And if you're unsure, let's talk to your director. And just remember that when we're out in the public, we're representing the company, and we're doing that by our clothing, we're doing that by our hair and makeup, and we're also doing that by our manners and our attitudes and how we present ourselves in social situations out in the public. Okay, so number 2 is to wear your Mary Kay pen. So I believe it's this one on my jacket. And this is mine that does say sales director. I do have one that says Mary Kay that doesn't have the sales director circle around it. And when Denise was telling us originally when I first started, is if you put the pen on upside down, it's a conversation starter. So somebody could be standing next to you in line at the grocery store, let's say, and they like look at your pen and like, oh, your thing's on upside down, and you're like, hey, yeah, I did that on purpose so you'd ask me about it. Have you ever heard of Mary Kay? So that's kind of like an easy way to have people, to have conversations organically with people. This works really good for introverted people or shy people, where they need to make those kinds of attempts and those kinds of comments, but there's a little bit of insecurity and fear behind that. So having that pin on and having a couple people comment on it kind of gives you some security and kind of gets you to open up to people and everything. Have your business cards with you. That is an amazing, amazing way to always be successful with your business. If you don't have business cards, that's okay. You can print some. You can have, you could literally handwrite them and cut paper out if you wanted to, and you could still make it look professional. If you don't have business cards or you choose not to have business cards, I know that I use a lot of the times, I use the lookbook and the ones that are maybe like the last cycle, if I have any of them left. And I do have the stamp that has my name and address and everything on it. And I always stamp the back. And so sometimes if I don't have a business card or I ran out or I didn't bring that purse on accident or whatever, and I have these in my car, I keep them in the back pocket behind my seat. Then I have one of these in the car and I can give it to somebody, and then it's got my contact information on it. Going a step further with that is to always ask if it's okay if you put their contact information in your phone and then you text them right away and say, hey, I'm the Mary Kay lady you just met at the post office. I enjoyed chatting with you, and get them into your phone and you make that initial contact. And then do you have Mary Kay on your voice message? So that's like your greeting on your voicemail on your cell phone. Most of us all have cell phones now. I think very little people have landlines anymore. So on your cell phone voicemail, does it represent Mary Kay? Do you acknowledge that you are a Mary Kay person, and that kind of stuff on your voicemail memo? And I found out today that I need to update mine because it still says consultant. It doesn't say director. And someone pointed that out to me today. So number 5, do you have Mary Kay on your profile in social medias? So depending on securities with different people's jobs, if they have like a job outside of Mary Kay and they have to keep things separate, that's obviously one thing to keep in mind. But if you are able to, putting Mary Kay on your social media is a great idea. And I really hope and recommend that everybody does that, no matter which social media platform you are on. And you don't need to like inundate people with stuff all the time. Just have it on there, put your website, maybe have like post stuff every now and again, just to kind of keep it relevant for your social media audience, how you that you have Mary Kay. and you want to continue to post the other stuff that you would normally post so people get to know you as a rounded person, not just all Mary Kay or all something else. That's a completely other topic, so I'm not going to go too much farther into that one. Number 6 is, do you have a goal for how many team members you would like to acquire each month? If you don't know the answer to that one right now, that's okay. That's what we're going to hopefully get to as we go through tonight's training. If you don't have a goal for that, or you don't know what's available out there, we do have something called the National Queen's Court of Sharing. And that is one of the national courts for the seminar stage. And if you get 24 Great Start qualified team members, personal team members in the seminar year, you would qualify for that court. So it averages out to 2 new consultants each month. And Great Start qualified means that they have to have together cumulatively in their first 4 months, they have to have a $600 order. So there's lots of ways to get them to that point. So as consultants talking to potential new recruits, the first thing we want you to do is talk to them about if they want to become a consultant, yes or no. And then if they are interested, you get them on the phone with us. If you're not feeling comfortable about talking about the opportunity yourself, your director, any of the directors would be happy to get on a call with you guys. And then once they have decided if they are going to sign up, then we're going to have the conversation with them about inventory options based on the type of business that they want to run. So we want to get away from talking to our potential recruits and saying sentences like, you only need to get 225 for the whole year. And we don't want to put limits on people thinking that that number is like a selling point for them to say yes. Because when we put that out there, it kind of creates a ceiling and then that expectation that that's all that's available. And so we're limiting their knowledge on what is available and kind of making a decision for them, which maybe that isn't the right decision and more inventory is, or a different type of order, or hosting a party first to get inventory. So there's lots of other options that go along with that. On your team building workshop online, number 7 is not there, but I'm going to tell you on mine, number 7 says, do you know how the marketing plan works? So we do have different brochures, different topic points, and different videos that are available all on InTouch that can help you understand how the marketing plan works. Don't feel uncomfortable about talking to people about recruiting if you want to team build and you don't know this information. This is one of the things that would be expected of the director to do for you and help you along with that to get comfortable. And we do have a marketing video that is on YouTube that we are able to send out to potential recruits. And I think it's like 27 minutes. It is Denise talking, and it's a great introductory marketing, video to get people some of those basic first step questions answered. It's a great tool to send out to people if they want to hear a little bit more about it. And it's one that you can send them a link, talk about it. They get a special code word in the video. They text it back to you so you know they watched it. And then we follow up with the next steps if they want to talk to the director in person, Zoom, on the phone, whatever. Okay, so the next thing we want to talk about is research and statistics. So the company research and statistics as of 2019 say a consultant will mainly recruit during the 2 different times in her business. Once when she starts and she's brand new and excited about growing her own business, and it just kind of happens organically. And the second time is if she's moving up in her business or going towards another goal. So we want to get away from that kind of mindset and kind of keep team building in our focus always if you want to team build. So we learn how to do the parties, and we learn how to do the facials, and we learn how to do a customer order and follow up and do all of those things. So working the business full circle brings the next thing into it, which is team building. So team building can be a simple conversation, to start with. And we don't want to just think about it twice in our career. Once when we start, because we're all past that point now. And then as you're growing up in the business, obviously we've heard of some different consultant levels there are. We talk about Red Jacket a lot. We talk about DIQ a lot, but there are other levels as well. And so we want people to be thinking about this all the time if they're team building. So it's not something that they just do every once in a while. It becomes part of the process and part of your all the time, every day, always business, always follow up, always sharing, because you just never know who you need to share this with and whose life it could change. And they don't even know that yet. Okay, so the company is still, this is very still relevant. The company is pulling out all the stops heavily on incentivizing the red jackets. So the year 2019, when I came in, probably very close to this training, the they were promoting a red jacket. They were calling it like the Sea of Red, and there was a cruise that directors could win if they had so many red jackets. And so being in red was like the big thing. And that first year when I went to seminar and I got to see all those people in their red jackets, I got that vision. I understood what that meant, a sea of red. And so it was really kind of fun to see that happen and watch all of those people change and be a part of that and watch people get into their red jackets. So why do people get into their red jackets? Well, we're going to get into that. Okay, next page. In 2019, when this document was made, a consultant could earn the use of a career car. And since then, that has changed. What they found statistically was that most of the people that were earning cars as a consultant were kind of doing it simultaneously as they were going through DIQ, or they didn't realize they were in car production and they were missing a couple little pieces because they were focusing on DIQ or team building. So they just went ahead and made that very simple for us. Now, in order to earn a car, you do have the director step first. And earning a car is amazing. It's so exciting. I can't wait to do it. And that brings in more money, but you can't do that kind of a step all by yourself, again, because you have to become a director, which means team building. So if a car is interesting for you, then your team building answer should be yes. So make a list of the people who come to mind when if you just sit down and kind of like meditate or pray or think about things, whatever words you want to use for how you do quiet time or prayer time in your life, really be intentional about that and ask for names to be given to you specifically of people that you know, people in your life, people you've met. And then if you feel like a name has come over your heart, reach out to that person 100% and talk to them. And you don't need to reach out to them and be like, oh my gosh, I need you to sign up for Mary Kay. I just prayed and God told me your name and I need you to sign up. No, please don't reach out like that. That makes it sound like a cult and it makes other things sound awful. So initially when you reach out, just have that conversation, be like, hey, you were on my mind today. How are you doing? Do you have anything going on in your life right now? Or, just start a conversation naturally that way. And then as you're talking to people who come across your mind in your heart, kind of have these questions in your mind to know if they're going to be a good fit for your team. Do I like this person? Does she like people? Does she like the product? If your answer to yes is on any of those questions, then with no prejudgment, ask her if she'd be willing to listen to the marketing video. If those 4 items are a no, it doesn't mean we need to prejudge her and not ask her, but it just means maybe take a second thought and think about if that's really somebody that you can work with and be on your team. I think one of the comments they said at the very beginning when I started was, you have to imagine yourself being able to sleep in the same bed with them at seminar. So if that's somebody you don't think you could do that with, maybe that's not a person meant to be on your team. Okay, so as we just started our new year of 2026, we are halfway through our seminar year, but this is still a great time to start thinking about team building, continue team building, and going forward. If you need a help with where to start, here's a great place to kind of go in order. So when you get together with somebody, you can talk to them one-on-one. You can go have coffee. You could go have lunch. You could invite her to be on a call with you and your director. You could invite her to one of our meetings that we do here on Zoom on Tuesdays, one of our guest events that we do in person. You could invite her to the Zoom with the director. We were calling that a pink into pink event, and now it's just more of a one-on-one or as needed basis instead of scheduled every single week. But we're still doing those. Invite her to listen to the marketing call, which is a YouTube video, and then make sure you share team building stuff in every facial you do, because even if you don't want to team build, you might be facialing people that could definitely use Mary Kay as a business opportunity. And if you don't want a team build, that's totally fine. But maybe you have kind of like some interest in somebody and think they'd be great in the company, but you don't want a team build. So you could pass them on to like your director or somebody else, a sister consultant, and help them with that person to team build if that's something you don't want to do. And then in the sharing process, so this is kind of close to my heart. It's towards, I think in your guys' packet, it might be down a couple pages, but, and I don't even know if it says it in your packet, but a couple of us, several of us have known Bill Cantrell. He is an amazing, he was an amazing life coach, mentor, sales coach, all the things. And he was one of the few people that Mary Kay would allow to work with people outside of Mary Kay people. So a lot of times, anytime anybody spoke at any kind of event or in person or online or any, I mean, online was fairly new lately, but those people were limited to like Mary Kay nationals or Mary Kay corporate people. And Bill Cantrell was one of them that got to do that, that was not a Mary Kay person. So I got the opportunity to work with him. I know Rebecca has worked with him. I know April worked with him. I believe, I don't remember if MJ did. I know Denise did for a lot of years. And he was just an amazing person, so close to my heart, and Rebecca's for sure. And so this is what he would say in the interview process. The reason I'm calling you is because you have been on my mind, and I keep thinking about how fantastic you could be in doing what I do because, and then share that reason with them. So if you think they would be great at doing what you're doing because they're a fun person, then you say that part of it. Those kinds of things. I think you'd be great at this because you're good at, doing makeup tutorials on your TikTok page or, whatever. I would love to get together with you and do a dream session. A dream session is just an opportunity call. It's just talking to somebody about if they want to become a Mary Kay consultant or not. And the cool thing about calling it a dream session and talking to people is you genuinely want to listen to their answer. Don't listen to them just to tell them the next thing and try and sell them on becoming a consultant, because that sounds very like multi-level marketing. And that's not what we're about. We really want people in our business and in our company that really truly would be an asset to our company, and it would be an asset to their life. If it's something that really truly would not fit for them, we don't want to try and push them into it. So when you're in these dream sessions talking to people, you want to find out kinds of questions like what they like to do, what things they enjoy doing, they think they're maybe good at, or things that they want to get involved in, to see if it is a good fit for them. And maybe at the end of the dream session, being a Mary Kay consultant is not the answer, and that's okay too. We want to still have the dream sessions and just be open to anything that anybody says. We don't want to prejudge the people. We don't want to like assume, oh, she's always got 25 boyfriends in the mix, she doesn't have time to be a Mary Kay lady because she's, blah, blah, blah. So when you're talking to your people, you want to share a little bit about how you got started in Mary Kay. We call that our I story. You do want to keep this brief and keep it somewhat relatable to her because, again, we want to listen to what she says. We don't want to just talk the whole time. And so a quick way to understand how a person is going to react is to quickly read what kind of personality they are. And this is in another training again, so I'm just going to briefly go over it. But we call it the DISC, so the DISC. So if a person is like a D, that means they're like dominating. It doesn't mean it's a negative thing. It just means that they're like really task oriented. They're like a go-getter. They're out there. They just need the facts. They need you to tell them it, and they don't want you to sugarcoat it. Just tell me how it is and tell me so I can move on with it and make a decision. An I person is going to be really like into all the prizes, into the stage at seminar and the lights and the smells and all that kind of stuff. And they want to build relationships and they want to save the world and all those kinds of things. So they're going to be the ones that you're going to want to talk to about maybe some of like the recognition that could happen, some of the events that are fun. They're going to be, I am a high I. So my personality, for you guys that know me, I would be a high I. An S person is going to be somebody that wants to focus more on like the security of the business. They want to know what it can do to help build their family, to help, financially build their family. They're going to be family oriented first, and they want to have really good security. They're going to be very, I don't want to say slow to make a decision, but they're gonna put a lot of thought into it before they do make a decision. And a C person is going to be like your detailed, your analytics, your auditor kind of a personality. They're going to want to know like the nitty gritty details, the facts, the steps on how to do it, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they're going to make very analytical type of a decision. That's the best way I can say that, because I don't want any of these to sound negative. None of the personality traits are right or wrong. They just are what they are. And if you learn how to read people and know how to talk to them in the language that they're going to receive the information, you'll be able to have more of success in your conversations with them. Okay, so these are questions I want you guys to think about. So I'm going to tell you the question and then I'm going to give you a second to kind of think of your answer. What do you like most about what you currently do, Mary Kay specific? Because you guys are all consultants. This question you would ask to your potential recruit what they like to do most with what they currently do. What do you like least about what you currently do? For you guys, again, what about Mary Kay specifically? And then for them, what's in their life without knowing Mary Kay is what they like least. If there was one thing you could change about your life or your work, what would it be? And then the last one is, how would you describe the ideal work situation if you could have it just the way you want it? What would that look like? How would that be? Think about that in detail. You want to get really specific with your own answer so you can help potential recruits in dream sessions get really specific about their answers. So
Can you repeat that last one more time?
Repeat the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. How would you describe the ideal work situation if you could have it just the way you want it? What would that be and how would that look?
Can you repeat 3?
Uh-huh. If there was one thing you could change about your work life, what would it be?
Okay.
Okay. And so then here is a really quick customization kind of little trigger points of how to talk to each personality. So if you're the consultant talking to somebody else, and they are a D, you want to move into the management position quickly, you want to earn money fast, etc. That's how you would talk to them. Those are the kinds of things that you would highlight. Somebody that's a D personality is going to get in there and get the work going and they're going to move up fast. And so those are the types of things that you want to highlight to them as potential possibilities, because that's what they're going to hear and want to know about. An I person is going to want the fun, the friendships, the prizes, the recognition. An S person is going to want family, personal growth, and consistency. So talking about their family, faith first, family second, career third. The personal growth that we get through our meetings and the relationships that we build, and the consistency with, we are a residual product company because we wash the stuff off and it goes down the drain every night and every morning. So we always have the potential for reorders. So you can grow money and income slowly over time as it goes up with sorry, Sandy, I just got sidetracked. With the way that they want to do it slow, like, the, what is it? The tortoise and the hare, the tortoise goes a lot slower, but they still grow. They still get to the finish line. The C person is going to be all about the education, knowing that Mary Kay is number one. They're going to want to know about the quality and the ingredients and the products. They're going to want to know about things that we do within the corporate part of it, the marketing, the facility, the manufacturing facility, you know, the numbers. How do I get this number by this number? They're going to be really into the math side of it. Okay, so we're getting close to the end. So these are 3 questions for you right now as the consultant moving in the direction of, are we going to team build or are we not? Okay, what do you need the most in your life and your career right now? An example of that would be money, flexibility, recognition, the sisterhood, the consistency, the products. Number 2, if you had what you needed, what would you want in addition to that? So this is where I want you to dream about things. Do you want a new house, a new car, a vacation, a cruise, a house cleaner? I found out today, you guys, that somebody can come over to your house and take your garbage can to the side of the road and bring it back to you. I mean, that literally is like what I'm all about. Somebody could come to my house and do these things for me. I always tease my husband and tell him that we need to get like a sister wife because I need a wife that like cooks and cleans and like takes care of me, but not one that has sex with my husband. So there are a lot of tasks that you can delegate. But there was one national that told us this in Dallas this year, and it is hilarious. That is one task that she does not delegate out. So please don't send your husband to sleep with somebody else. That's just good life instruction in general. That's free, not in my notes. Um, and then number 3, at this stage in your life, what's the most important thing to you? Is it your family? Is it your health? Is it your finances? Is it your freedom? Is it your girlfriend time? What are those things? Are you in a new chapter of life? You know, Rebecca, she kind of gets to hit all the stages at once. She's got a new baby, she's got a new daughter-in-law, she's got a grown son, a grown daughter, a second grown son. Like she's got one going, I think, on a mission. Like she's got all the phases hitting at once. So, um, you know, she's just a go-getter. That's what she does. So she's doing them all at once, getting it all off her book, her checklist at once. Okay, so number 1, what do you need the most in your life and career right now? Number 2, if you had what you needed, what would you want in addition to that? What do you want to dream about? And then at number 3, at this stage in your life, what's important? What's most important to you? So it does give us a closing statement on here. So if you're going to get the notes off of the Facebook, go ahead and read it on there. I'm going to do a different um, motivational close or inspirational close. But right now, for the next 10 minutes, what we're going to talk about is different things that you have come up with as objections as you're talking to people. This could be objections to hosting a party. It could be in relation to team building. So we want to open it up because I do have a couple of pages here of ways to respond to objections. And instead of me just sitting here reading 4 pages of objections, I wanted to kind of get some specific ones that you guys have heard, and then collectively we can come up with a response if it's not in my notes to help our people move forward with that. And then I just want to double check in the chat really quick because I know I saw a couple of things coming up. And I know one of them was, this was a lot of stuff like we did with our vision boards. It goes right in line with that. Yes, that's very true. It's almost like we planned it. Oh, Deb, I'm sorry you're not feeling good. Okay, Bill Cantrelli's so awesome. Ideal situation. I know, right? They just all come knocking on our door and be like, hey, please sign me up and I want to go in as a star consultant at 3,600. And then they bring 50 of their friends and do it that way too. Okay, so this is a good one. Um, Heidi chimed in and said, her plate is so full, I don't think I would have the time to be a good consultant. That's a really great one that we hear a lot of times as far as an objection. What are some of the answers that some of you guys have learned or read or said to people if that is one of the objections that you've got? And then I will read the one that's on our list. Anybody go ahead and chime in. Okay. Anyone? Anyone? Give you guys all a chance to unmute if you want to. So a good response for that one would be, I'm going to just kind of break it down into one of the comments that she said. So let's say she said, I already have a full-time job. You know, my plate is so full. I don't have any, time or whatever. That's great. You would have a lot of contacts then for your hostesses as potential hostesses. A lot of women sell Mary Kay products in between their regular job, in between their life events, and they kind of sprinkle it in where they can and where it fits best. You could always follow that up with an example. I know I use April's example a lot. When she first started out, she was a single mom. She was going to college. She had one day a week where she could do like 4 hours worth of stuff, and she made it work and grew a great business by doing it that way. So you certainly don't want to talk negatively to a person and be like, whatever your priorities are, you'll make time for. You don't want to say it like that. But the truth is anybody who wants to do this will be able to find a way how. And that's our job to help them find those ways and to get that belief in them that they could do this and they can sprinkle it into their lives. And maybe it is only 2 hours on one day a week, and that's okay. And that's perfectly fine. Any other objections? Let me look at the chat again. It gives you a chance to, okay, Heidi says, it gives you a chance to have growth in time management. That's perfect. A lot of times, the people who are more busy are more able to manage their time wisely. I have personally felt this myself. When I have more time to do nothing, I do more of nothing. And it seems like I could run an entire household, work full time at the bank, have a toddler and like a little kid and like all kinds of events. I was like on the women's board at church. I was doing like all of the things, and I still could get all of my dishes done, all of my laundry done. I took my own garbage can out to the side of the road. Like I could do all of those things myself. And as I've gotten older or less able to multitask, I don't know, those tasks don't seem to happen as good as they used to when I was doing all of those things. Anybody else have an objection? All right, I'm going to read some common ones that I've heard and that I know of.
I feel like we should. Sandy says my plate is so full I don't have time to do a facial. I think that's a really good one because with
Oh,
booking,
I didn't see that one.
yeah.
Okay, I missed that. Sorry, Sandy. Go ahead, Heidi. You tell her a response and then I have one.
Oh, I was just gonna say that like I get kind of smart alecky with them. I do. And I'm just like, well, do you wash your face? And I'm like, do you wash it in the morning or at night? And it's usually once a day, and it's usually in the morning. And I'm like, great, can I be in your bathroom with you? Like, we'll FaceTime, like 6 a.m., I don't care. And I'm gonna
Mhm.
send you some samples and we're gonna do it together because everybody washes their face. I don't care if they're getting into the shower or
Mhm.
things. They're gonna wash their face at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's difficult. I think sometimes, especially with what you've shared lately, Sandy, about like since COVID and just people over there don't like to get together in person, you really got to play on the virtual side of it and just FaceTiming
Mhm.
or even sending them samples with an instruction sheet on what to do and then just having a follow-up call with them because they're going to wash their face at some point during their day.
I like Deb said, or brush their teeth.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
learning how to listen to podcasts, and I've been finding that I really enjoy following some people on podcasts. And podcasts are something that you can do easy, like when you're trying to get ready in the morning to go for your day or whatever. And I know a lot of us listen to the Million Dollar Messenger at that point in time. And so that's a really good time to talk to somebody. I mean, a lot of us are busy. A lot of us have a lot of things that we are doing, but that is, I mean, we can find time and they don't know how important this could be to them. And so we don't want to be pushy, we don't want to be rude or disrespectful, but we do maybe want to encourage them forward, especially if we're really feeling like a call that they're meant for this business. We want to really pay attention to that kind of stuff and follow up with them a lot. I know Heidi had a girl, you babysat her originally, I think, right, Heidi, Allie? And you had followed up with her several times, and Heidi just was very steady and consistent with following up with her. And I think it was like the seventh or eighth time, and finally she just got on a call with her because she felt bad for putting her off so many times. And then she got to hear about all the things that were possible. And as a college student and a brand new bride, very early young married, she grew a great business, and she's still doing it, and she's still moving forward with all of those things. But sometimes they do put us off 8 times. And if you're really feeling that connection with them or that they're meant to be on your team, which Heidi was feeling with Allie, she just kept following up with her. And until they tell you, please do not ever call me again and talk to me about Mary Kay, I would rather die, you're okay to keep talking to them. Okay. So here's one of the response on that objection of I am too busy. I am a busy person too, and that's why I choose you. You see, busy people make the best consultants. They're usually the most organized and get things done. So that's a great way to say that in a positive way that is giving them a compliment and acknowledging that they're busy, but that doesn't mean it's an excuse. Another one that we hear a lot of times is I don't have the money. I think there's a lot of preconceived notions of things like that where they feel like they have to go in with a lot of products or inventory. And again, they don't know what they don't know. They just know what they've heard or they've heard other people talking about. And so a good reason or a good explanation for that one is that's great. The best reason for joining Mary Kay ever is because you don't have enough money. I didn't have enough money, and I would suggest that and then you can list some things that you do. So I know there's another handout somewhere on our Facebook page that's like 101 ways to make the money to pay for inventory, like recycling cans in Oregon. We're right here on the border. Sandy can do that all the time. Taking something to a pawn shop, selling something on Facebook Marketplace, taking clothes to a consignment store, borrowing money from yourself. Let's say maybe you have some money in savings. You could borrow it from yourself, pay it back to yourself like a traditional loan. There are loans, there are credit cards that are available out there. I don't like to get into that side of the conversation with people just because I have a banking background and I really don't want to encourage people to take on debt. So I try to stay away from those types of options, but they are available. Another objection that we hear a lot is I'm just not the beauty consultant type. Okay, so a good response for that one is, let me assure you that you aren't a plain Jane either. But I understand your thinking. A beauty consultant should look like she just stepped out of the Vogue magazine, right? Our queen of sales for the entire company 1 year was a woman who was 77 years young. Isn't that great? That's because physical beauty isn't what counts in a Mary Kay career. It's the inner beauty of a person that makes her successful. We have a prize-winning recipe for beautiful skin, and all you have to do is share it, teach it to others. There are so many women out there who would love to finally learn how to take care of their skin properly. If I could teach you to do it, wouldn't you want to teach others how they could do it too? So that's obviously a very long and very scripted response. So you would certainly want to tweak that into your own words because you don't want it to sound like Chat GPT just gave you an answer and you copied it and pasted it to them. But there's all kinds of objections in this handout. I do encourage you guys to go find it on the Facebook page and go through it. There literally is 4 pages of objections and answers to offset those kinds of things. Sandy said getting them to seminars so you can see the diversity among the consultants. That was huge for me as well. Again, I'm a heavier person and I assumed and expected that everybody that was successful in Mary Kay was going to look like Denise. And when I went to seminar that first year, I was pleasantly surprised that there was people in all walks of life, all sizes, all shapes, all colors, all ethnicities, all backgrounds, all religions, disabilities. I mean, you name it, there was somebody there. And there's different types of people in the world for reasons, and we don't want to all be robots. And so somebody that I may not resonate with, you might, or vice versa. And so there's always people out there, and you're always going to organically be attracted to the people that you need to have in your life. Um, Heidi said that that was one of the same things that she felt. Um, it stopped you it stopped her from doing some of her business until she realized that it didn't matter what body type she was, she still had a place where she belonged. And that's so true. Very, very, very true. We all have things people can learn from. We all have things that people are attracted to us for. And we seem to always attract people too that we need that maybe are a little different from us that help kind of fit those puzzle pieces together. I know I was talking about that for sure. I think it was when we were either in McCall or Portland, how the girls that are on our team seem to have like expertise in areas that I'm not as strong in. I know Sandy's very technically savvy, and she does all kinds of things that help me so much. And I've learned so much from her taking on a lot of those technical tasks. Heidi's the same way. She knows a lot of that, and she's super brilliant and talented on like a lot of the graphics and stuff like that. I don't do well with that. That's not a strength of mine. You guys, there's just so many options and things out there that people are going to be attracted to you for. Okay, so does anybody have any questions before I close? We're about 4 minutes over time.
I have a comment.
Okay.
You were talking about professionalism, and
Uh-huh.
I wanted to make a comment about that because I saw somebody in a car advertising Mary Kay the other day that not only cut somebody off, but then flipped them off. And I was thinking, if you're going to advertise your business on your car, you shouldn't be flipping people off. So you need to have manners when you're advertising your Mary Kay business on your car.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That is so funny. I
I
mean, it's
didn't
not
know
funny,
the
but
person. I didn't recognize the name. And I was like, you really ought to not only have your car clean, you need to be out, you need, and writing off those car washes because you're advertising your business on your car.
yeah.
You need to be having some manners.
Yeah. The first time we went anywhere, Mary Kay away from Boise, so like seminar was my first experience, and it was in Dallas, and it had been in Dallas for quite a few years. And one of the things I kept hearing at all the restaurants that we would go to, and some of the hotel staff and the different, and people even at the convention center, they were like, "We love it when Mary Kay is here and doing things because the majority of Mary Kay people are always kind and
Yes,
compassionate. They say thank you, they tip well, they're courteous, and those kinds of things. And that matters, you guys. That's
it
huge.
does. It's
I
huge.
want to make sure I represent the company that way. I definitely am that type of a person naturally, so that was easy for me to do. But if that was an area that you struggled in, then this is just a great example of where an area where you can make improvements and stuff. Anybody else? I do have a funny story about that, but don't want to take up too much time. So anybody else before I tell you this last little piece that was kind of funny? So my pastor, for a long time back when checks were still a thing and people wrote them often, he had the word reverend on his checks. I think before his name or whatever, and he used to talk about. He would joke that he would remember that he had to write a check for his groceries, and so he needed to make sure he was really kind and sweet and compassionate and patient when he got to the checkout line, because once he got to the top to the end and he had to pay for his groceries, he knew that cashier was going to take a check that said Reverend. So he always remembered. I mean, he was kind anyways, but okay.
Yes.
So I do have a sheet here. It is also on our Facebook page. It is titled Wisdom by Mary Kay Ash. There are 4 items on here, and the one I'm going to talk about tonight because it resonates with us and it resonates with our training is greatness is within you. I believe, this is coming from Mary Kay, I believe that every person has a capacity for greatness, that God planted the seeds there, and it is up to you to make them blossom, Fourth, with patience, guidance, and belief. It is up to us to discover the multiple talents that we possess and bring them into fruition. That was something she said at a VIP class speech at the seminar of 1988, you guys, and that's still super relevant today. Some of us don't know the greatness that's within us, and I sure didn't. And I needed you guys that loved on me and supported me and believed in me and watched me soar after I learned how to believe a little tiny bit in myself. so, so that's all I have for you guys tonight. If anybody has any other comments or anything they want to say, please jump in. I will go make sure that popped back up to the top of the feed. And next week we are on Zoom again, but it is a guest event. So let's get our guests on there for boosters.
I just want to affirm you really quick, Kelly, that you did such a great job tonight. It was such a good training and it was great info. And I'm excited to I don't know, I really want to rock out January.
I know,
Even though
right?
I'm starting a little slow. I'm like, I'm going to pick it up now.
Yeah.
We
But
got it.
thank you. It was great tips, great ideas, and just a great remembrance of what we all know that we need to be doing.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do. And
Everybody who's
all of
on
us
this
included.
call is so good at these things. So it's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
It's a really good refresher, and it's awesome to have this now recorded and on YouTube. So somebody who maybe doesn't know this yet is going to be able to hear it. So I
Yep,
love redoing
exactly.
trainings like that so we get the information again.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, you guys.
Don't
Have a
forget to
wonderful
invite your guest next week. And we're going to be
yes.
doing the drawing for, if you missed announcements, we're going to be doing the drawing for the luxury brand giveaway. And it's going to be a guest event for the clinical solutions line. So make sure to get all of your people who are entered into that drawing onto the call too. They can be there for the event and for the drawing. Okay.
So it
Yes.
is via Zoom and
Yes, it's
Yes.
going
Facebook.
to be on
Okay.
Zoom. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All
You
right.
know what?
Go.
Heidi and I might talk about that later. Maybe we need to do it on Zoom and the beauty bar page for people that aren't. Well, I guess Zoom they could still get on that. I was gonna say for the non-local, but maybe we could stream it on both. I don't know. We'll talk
But
about it.
it's not in
Okay.
person is the thing.
Yes,
No, it's
correct.
not in
Okay.
person.
We're in
There
Zoom
is,
for all of January, right?
Yes.
yes. And there is an invite in your announcements for it. And then there's also one on Voxer, whichever way is easiest for you to. I like to just open my announcements and screenshot and
That's what
then
I do too. I open them,
crop it so it
screenshot them,
fits
and
it.
then I have them to forward them
Yeah.
on. So
Yeah.
if you
Thanks.
don't know how to screenshot, reach out to one of us, anybody of us that knows. I know somebody in my group has technology as a growth item that they're doing this year. And so if technology is something you struggle with and you need help with that, please reach out to us and we can help you screenshot. We can help you do any of those things. So lots of ways we can help you guys.
Okay.
Okay. Bye, guys. Good
Thank
night.
you.
Happy New
Bye.
Year.
Bye.